Let's do that again because my microphone was up. Because if my microphone is up here, like I did there, you won't be able to hear me because it is a function of this headset where if the microphone is up like that, you will not hear me. So if you see the microphone up like this, the mechanism I use um, mutes the microphone. So just to let you guys know that if you see that in the near future. So, anyways, hope everybody's doing well out there. Getting a little chilly here, and we got a frost warning tonight here in Philadelphia. Well, the Philadelphia area, but not Philly proper because of the heat island effect. But we're not going to get into weather. We're not even going to get into traffic and weather on the twos or anything like that. But anyways, um, a lot going on tonight, and got a lot of stories here, and we'll get that going in a couple of minutes. Got some Bleacher Brothers updates as well. Ones that I can tell you because I want to keep you guys in the know because things are going to be expanding big time in the next couple of weeks. So I will let you know about that. So a lot of things going on here. I got the WNBA Finals Game One on my TV. I got the football game on my iPad going on right here, and I am watching the chat room as well. So a lot going on tonight, and hopefully we will get through this night here and send you to your weekend. Uh, and also I'll let you know about also eligible this weekend as well. Um, so so we'll get on to all the other things that are going on as well. As Minnesota is getting back into the game here, they're down 6 to New York. Early on, Minnesota was down like 20 or more than that. Uh, I saw it in passing, but that does happen from time to time where I miss things. But I will have some WNBA news as well. Um, let's begin with the hurricane that went through Florida last night. Hurricane Milton struck. Landfall was near Siesta Key, and it was affected everybody in Florida basically in some way, shape, or form. Some got wind, some got rain, some even on the East Coast got tornadoes and stuff like that. But um, thankfully, everybody that we have here at Bleacher Brothers is okay. Who's down in Florida? Um, there's a lot of damage going on. There's a lot of damage in Florida, and they haven't recovered from the hurricane 2 weeks ago, Helene. So, got a lot of debris there. Now you're going to have even more debris, and hopefully, um, Florida can recover like it always seems to do. But uh, a lot of damage down in Florida. I'm going to show you some as well, and I know you've probably seen it before, but those that are going to be watching this even after the fact, I do want to show a couple of pictures as well because some of the things are devastating. And uh, and one place that got hit hard was the Tropicana Field. And it's ironic that minutes after I talked about the other the Tropicana Casino that um, was imploded last about 36 hours ago, um, Tropicana Field, no connection between the two except for the word Tropicana, that took some major damage from the hurricane. So, um, we'll see what happens with that. Thankfully, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, and I said this to one of my friends. So I said it partially as a joke, but a lot of times you can't joke about things, and he did bring a good point. Um, the one thing I did say was thankfully the Rays didn't make the playoffs because imagine the chaos of the playoffs having um, the Rays have to move because of this hurricane that was coming through, and you know, and even worse, players having to move families and especially if you're playing a team like the Yankees, where I'm sure they have family down in Tampa because that's where their um, Tampa itself is its minor league, um, where their spring training is and where their single A team in the Florida State League is. So, but we'll see. I'll show you some of the damage here, and it's crazy even for Florida. I mean, Florida gets hits with hurricanes all the time, and that's the one reason why I would not want to move to Florida. And if you want to move to Florida, go ahead. Maybe because you like Ron DeSantis, you may like that it is a red state, even though it does occasionally go blue once in a while. Um, and I'm not getting into politics, so don't even go there, people. Um, but seriously, um, if you um, and some people want to retire down there, and rightfully so, because the weather is great most of the year. Now during the summer, it sucks because it's 95 degrees with 135% humidity. Over exaggeration, but you get the idea. But I don't want to be dodging hurricanes 3, 4 months out of the year, and especially with this was trending to a Cat 5, and it did weaken a little bit. But part of the reason why it weakened is because it just reached what is basically the max of what a hurricane can do with the ocean. Um, you know, it's just it just had to weaken at some point, and then because it loses the fuel of the ocean and the warm water, it loses a little bit when it crosses the peninsula there. So, but a lot of damage, and hopefully, there is a minimal loss of life. I did see there were some lives lost, unfortunately, um, and and I think it was even in areas where uh, it wasn't projected to be the worst areas to be hit, like right along the coast when the hurricane made landfall. But prayers to those that are affected by them, and if you're a type of person that believes in donating to good causes, you know do that, because a lot of people were devastated by Hurricane Helene, and now they're getting hit. They got hit by Milton, so but a lot of destruction in the state of Florida right now, and hopefully they bounce back quickly from all this. So, but um, like I said, Tropicana Field got hit very hard, and I'm going to show my screen here in a second. You can see some of the damage here, and I'm sure that you've seen it before. But if you haven't seen it, or you're going to be watching this after the fact on Twitch or on my YouTube, gives you an idea of what happened. And I'm going to share my screen now. So I'm going to zoom this as much as I can. And thankfully, the ads are behaving as well. And I blocked the ad. So let me do this and then this. There we go. And you can see the damage there even with this video. I'm not going to play because, I'll probably get copyright infringement or whatever. Um, but there's the damage of the stadium there. And they said it may take weeks to fully assess how much damage was done to Tropicana Field, um, which saw the roof ripped to shreds, as you see there, by the force of Hurricane Milton and the deadly storm barreling across much of Florida. Um, the team said no one was injured at the ballpark when struck by the storm Wednesday night. A handful of essential personnel were inside Tropicana Field as the roof panels were blown apart, with much of the debris falling onto the field and seats below. The Rays said on Thursday, over the coming days, weeks, and months, we expect to be able to assess the true condition of Tropicana Field. In the meantime, we are working with law enforcement to secure the building. We ask for your patience at this time, and we encourage those who can to donate to organizations in our community that are assisting those directly impacted by these storms. So, obviously, you don't want to be a franchise that says, "Hey, donate to us." No, look outward to those that are much less fortunate, as you can tell. And you can see. Um, and as I said, it was the second hurricane hit Florida's Gulf Coast in the last 2 weeks. Um, Now they do have a 5 month window to get the roof fixed if they can get it fixed, because that is a lot of material that has to be fixed there. I mean, that's probably about a third to almost a half of the roof that was gone. Um, um, Now, the original plan was to have the ballpark serve as a temporary base camp to support debris cleanup operations and temporarily house some first responders. Those plans, however, were changed as the storm neared amid concerns that the roof simply would not survive Milton's wrath. And as you can tell, it did not. Ron DeSantis, the governor, said they were located. Tropicana Field is a routine staging area for these things. The roof on that, I think it's rated for 110 miles an hour. So as the forecast changes, but as it became clear there was going to be something of that magnitude that was going to be within the distance, they redeployed the team out of Tropicana. There was no state assets that were inside Tropicana Field. So, but there's more here, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But you see the damage there, and um, and tell you a little bit about the roof there, and um, there's an overview of the stadium, and they had all the cots ready and all that. So you do see all that there because they were prepared to uh, do all kinds of work to help every part of the process that Ron DeSantis was saying. Go scroll back up to that picture there. I think there's two pictures on this. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go back to the first picture so you can see that. So the roof was designed to sustain. I'm sorry. First, let me go to this. Um, the team previously said that Tropicana Field features the world's largest cable-supported dome roof, with the panels made of translucent Teflon-coated fiberglass supported by 180 miles of cables connected by struts. The roof was designed to withstand winds up to 115 miles an hour. Now, the stadium opened in 1990 at the initial cost of 138 million, and is due to be replaced in time for the 2028 season with a 1.3 million ballpark, which is going to be in that same general area. Um, so, they're probably gonna have to replace the whole roof, in my opinion. I don't know, but that is a lot of damage that was done there, and you can just see how um, and I didn't realize that it was a Teflon roof. And I would imagine, even though fit to, it was fit to withstand up to 115-mile-an-hour winds, I would imagine that over time that Teflon does weaken over time. I mean, it's kind of like how everything else erodes over time, and you have that depreciation value that they talk about in cars and stuff. And I'm going apples and oranges here. I'm probably talking about my ass, which is not the first time I've done that today. Um, th- I don't know how quickly they can do something like that and get it back ready. I did see tonight, but it was not confirmed because I saw it very last minute on Facebook. Um, the Yankees may allow the Tampa Bay Rays to play at their minor league ballpark. So I have not seen any confirmation of that. So take that for what it's worth. Um, Let me just double check here, just see if I can find something about that. Uh, I don't see anything there. So, um, and by the way, the Yankees are up 3-0 after six in Kansas City, looking to advance to the ALCS. And Cleveland did win 5-4 tonight. They're going back to Cleveland, tied at 2. Um, Okay, so what I said about the Yankees may be allowing the Rays to use their stadium, we'll see if that's the case or not. There is a 5 month window that they can get this roof fixed, but I don't think it's going to happen. But um, just to give you an idea here, so it has affected other teams in Florida. The Orlando Magic planned to spend Thursday in San Antonio and returned home Friday, a day behind their original schedule after playing the Spurs Wednesday night. Um, a preseason game that was planned for Friday in Orlando between the Magic and New Orleans was canceled and will not be rescheduled. Um, um, South Florida is preparing to host Memphis, a game that was pushed back from Friday to Saturday. And in Orlando, UCF was preparing to host Cincinnati. Both of those games are 3:30 kickoffs on Saturday. And I also, I believe, yeah, and also, which wasn't on this article, but I did see this earlier today. The Tampa Bay Lightning's home opener against the Carolina Hurricanes has been postponed amid recovery efforts in the Tampa Bay area. So, and uh, yeah, no makeup date has been announced as of yet. Um, so, and in Ottawa, the Senators game between them and the Panthers, they had a moment of silence to pay tribute to those affected by Hurricane Milton as well. Um, so you got all kinds of things going on there. Hopefully, that area of Florida can get back on their feet because you don't wish that on anybody, and that's a big. It's going to be a big undertaking to get that roof back, and I would imagine that they try to make that roof a little bit stronger. They would need about 3 more years there because that new stadium should be ready in 2028. I think I read. So, but thankfully, nobody was hurt from those that were in Tropicana Stadium, that essential personnel I was talking about, and everything, hopefully everybody there bounces back. Um, they're used to hurricanes, but it just seems like the last few years, the western part of Florida is starting to get hit again. I mean, it was a long time between hits with that area of Florida, that western side, because it's usually the eastern side that took the direct hit or the extreme northern panhandle part. But uh, hopefully they do bounce back because I don't wish that on anybody. Um, so on to a little bit less serious news, but still worthy to mention here. Um, I posted on my X today and my personal Facebook, and this wasn't shtick, even though my friends say it's shtick when I bash Charlie Manuel even now, years after the fact, and I was saying that Rob Thompson needs to be fired. I'm going to read exactly what I wrote because I copied and pasted it off of my X right to my. Well, I got to do it on got to do it on X here. So hold on a second. Profile. And some of my Facebook friends did. Um, uh, some people did like what I had to say, especially on my Facebook page. Um, and I said this about noon today, 11:45, because I was posting my article for my Quills picks winners, which my horse won. I didn't watch the race because I lost track of time, but um, I said on on X in my personal Facebook And I think I got enough people to understand my take on this now, because if what happened on Tuesday happened again yesterday, Rob Thompson would have probably had to take his own separate train home. But I told you guys last night on the show that um, I said last night that, I don't know if he would be fired or not, because I would have figured um, that um, if they really lost like 10-1, 9-0, something like that, and they showed no heart at all and weren't fighting back, but they did fight back today, yesterday. So that leads me in that gray area that I don't know what they're going to do. But I did say to you guys, um, you know, I don't know. And I said on my personal, um, I said, if the Phillies are going to fire Rob Thompson for diminishing results, don't string him along for 2 weeks like you did to Gabe Kapler in 2019. And if you remember, the only reason why they kept Gabe Kapler for a couple of weeks after the season was over was because they wanted to make sure that their guy, Joe Girardi, was going to be a manager, wanted to be a manager again, because he had been away for a few years, was doing, I believe he was doing media for Fox, or maybe even for the Cubs. So obviously, you want to make sure, especially if you're targeting a specific guy. And just a reminder, baseball doesn't have the Rooney Rule or something like that, like the NFL does. So you can interview one guy and say you're hired, and I don't remember who they interviewed. I think they interviewed Dusty Baker as well and a few others, or it was rumored that they were interested in these other guys, but they went with Joe Girardi, and we saw how that flopped. Um, but personally, Um, yeah, I don't know what they will do, but I did see this, and I got it from the Daily Race, not the Daily Racing Form. Jesus Christ! Let me give myself one of those if I have it on here. Yes, I do. Let's try that again. I did a Google search on Rob Thompson. I found the article from the Sporting News, not the Daily Racing Form. Daily Racing Form couldn't give a rat's ass about baseball unless it's Walker Buehler getting his watch stolen in Santa Anita. But, anyways, um, now, they said on here, who do you blame for the Phillies falling short of a World Series title? According to this article, it's possible it could be Rob Thompson. And, and like I said, with everything that happened, how the season ended yesterday, it wouldn't surprise me they retain him. It wouldn't be surprised if they fire him, one way or the other. And I think with the expectations being as high as they are or were, you might have to do that. But um, so this is from Colin Keene of the Sporting News. He said the fault would lie in the manager. Uh, Thompson uh, led the Phillies to the World Series, as we know, in 22, and had his interim tag removed along the way. He was subjected to media scrutiny after pulling Zach Wheeler from Game 6 of the World Series, with the Phillies leading 1-0 in the sixth inning. Jose Alvarado gave up that home run. Now, Bob Nightingale, and this is the originator, Bob Nightingale of USA Today. He reported earlier today that the Phillies front office will hold meetings soon to determine the matter. Now, will they do anything? I don't know, but Bob Nightingale said in his article on USA Today Now that Atlanta has fired 3 veteran coaches in Kevin Seitzer, Phillies legend, sarcasm, Sal Fasano, and Bobby Magallanes, hopefully I got that right, all eyes on the industry will be on Philadelphia. So, um, so Bob Nightingale says the Phillies will have evaluation meetings and decide whether to bring back Thompson or make coaching changes. Now, but Rob Thompson improved the overall record of the team year over year in the regular season, but it's about the playoffs, especially with the way that this team is set up and they've spent money. You want to have that same result in the postseason, and you went from World Series to League Championship Series to Division Series, and um, Ruben Amaro Jr., who was the former manager of the Phillies, who's now working with the Phillies as well as MLB Network, um, he said, and it was he replied to Sports Radio WIP. They gave all his stats. Uh, he said, time for the Phils to move on from Topper. He said, not even a little bit. As good of a manager there is in MLB. And I said, says the guy who didn't recognize diminishing returns when Charlie Manuel did the same thing, meaning the diminishing playoff results. So, but the thing is, also Charlie Manuel, he managed the team, finger quotes, to 102 wins in 2011, and then they lost Game 5 of the NLDS to St. Louis, and obviously it was a different playoff format back then, where you only had a one-game wild card back then. I don't even think the Cardinals were a wild. I think if they were a wild card, well, I don't know what happened. I don't remember what happened, um, but anyways, everything's on the table, and I don't know about you. Um, I basically believe it could go either way. If you feel like you should be fired, then you would I would listen to what you have to say about that. And also, if you think he should stay, okay, let's hear it. So, and the thing is, I'm okay with either side of this because of the fact that you know it's not a cut and dry issue here. It's all about you know how does the upper management and ownership feel about this, and you know uh, John Middleton was very blunt, and now he's been saying this for years, but he said it even more emphatically this year that he wants his fucking trophy back. And the team did lay a resounding thud in Queens this week. So be interesting to see. And I did have this conversation with a couple of people on my X today, and they said, well, who do you want as a manager? I was like, well, let me pull it back up here so I can tell you guys what I wrote. Um, let's see if I can get it to come up here. Come on, you can do it. All right, this is being a pain in the ass here. Hold on. Oh, hi. No, I want replies, you dumbass. Um, uh, okay, I was tagged in a post here. Uh, John Readers 25 on X tagged me and a bunch of others that he usually does. And he asked me if the Phillies make a change at the top, dot, 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 skip Schumacher. I said he should be interviewed ASAP Note that the Reds got the best manager out there in Francona without us realizing he was coming back. And people were saying that they don't want Skip Schumacher. Um, one person said, I can't. I have a general aversion to men named Skip. One guy was not interested in him. Now, just because you interview a guy doesn't mean that you are going to hire him, because you may not like something about him. You may want to go a little bit away from analytics, even though baseball is analytical now. But whatever it is, you know, the one thing you have to realize is not only do you, because not only do you have to realize that you may have to fire somebody, but if you fire somebody, who do you want to replace him? And I don't even know who the guys are that are going to be the replacements. I mean, this isn't like the NFL where towards the end of the year you'll say, "Oh, he's a potential head coach. He's a potential head coach. He's a potential head coach." In with the with the with MLB, you'll get some names, but you won't hear the names until the rumor mill starts. It isn't like, I mean, very rarely do you see, at least in my opinion, well, that guy's going to be going through some jobs this year, because especially now, they just get a guy who's a figurehead manager, and the general manager, whoever, says, put this lineup together, use this lineup today with everything that analytics is telling us today. But in a way, you got to realize that maybe we need to step back a little bit from analytics, because sometimes you have to look at some of the other things like gut feeling. And you know, I think I think that move to bring in Estevez in the sixth inning yesterday was a combination of gut feeling, desperation, because all hands were on deck, obviously, and it didn't work out. So, and also he made the move of keeping Hoffman in the game, and he sat much longer than what he's used to. I don't know how many times he went back out for a second inning. Probably not at all. But you do have that, um, all kinds of questions that you can ask about. So, um, and Minnesota just hit a three in their game against the New York Liberty Bibbities, and it is tied at 83. And she got fouled. How about that? So Sabrina Ionescu took a bad foul there, but you're trying to stop the three. You're in desperation mode there, and Minnesota's up one after being down over 20 points, I believe. But and if you follow me on Rebet at Joe Quills, I did take Minnesota here in this game. So, but that is a uh, major momentum for Minnesota here. But enough about that. But one more baseball news here. The MLB qualifying offers will rise again this offseason. If you are going to be a free agent and you are going to get this qualifying offer, which nobody accepts, it's very rare that it gets accepted. The qualifying offer this season will be the highest ever at $21.05 million, according to sources telling ESPN today. Uh, Now, what the qualifying offer is, it's a 1-year contract that teams can offer qualified free agents. If the player turns it down and signs with another team, the original team receives various forms of compensation. Players can be offered the qualifying offer once in their career and need to have played the previous season with one team to qualify. Teams must make their decision by 5 days after the World Series ends. So by the latest, November 7th, barring any rain delays or anything that delays the end of the World Series, but you get the idea. So um, now the qualifying offer is calculated as the average of the top 125 salaries in the league, and last year was 20.325 million. So uh, nobody accepted the offer last year. There's a number of players extremely likely to receive and turn down the offer, such as Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Corbin Burns, Alex Bregman, Willie Damas, and Max Fried. So, so you're probably going to hear that. You'll be getting your hopes up, and then you'll hear Pete Alonso declined it. It doesn't mean that he's not going back to New York. It's just part of the process in the free agency process. Just some notes here, other notes that were added here in this article. Jack Flaherty is not eligible for a qualifying offer because he was traded this season by the Tigers. Blake Snell is not eligible because he received a qualifying offer last offseason from the San Diego Padres. Uh, So just to give you an idea of what's going on with that, and you know, something like that is a good thing for me to mention to you guys because you know I may have a hot take or two here and there, but also I want to help you guys out because hey, what's a qualifying offer? Well, check that show, and it's about 38 minutes into the show. I talk about the qualifying offer. So just to give you an idea what's going on here, and I'm peeking at the TV here. Jump ball. And Liberty have the ball here, 3.9 seconds left. And Brianna Stewart drove the lane, lost the ball, was blocked, but they have 1 second left to shoot. 1 second left in the game. They're going to go to replay here, so we'll see what happens with that here. So I'm going to push up the story of the WNBA here only because of the fact that uh, well, the foul. Well, first, was it a foul? And second, if it's a foul, it's a weak foul, but it's before the lights went on. So if they determine it's a foul, they have to determine how much time goes back on the clock. I don't think there's a foul there if you're watching this, and I know there's probably about 3 people watching it, but you know, So we're looking to see what happens with this, and I'm trying to keep my eye on that because, um, well, I might as well do my um, because I don't think there's a foul there, but I'm Joe, only can shoot 3 pointers. Joe 3-inch vertical leap. So they did call a foul. 8 tenths of a second left. So and this is a crazy game from what I've seen over the last few minutes. So, and if this game's crazy, you want the other 4 games to be crazy as hell too. If you're WNBA after a season like this, and she missed the second free throw, and they're going to overtime. Unbelievable. And by the way, I got the Minnesota Lynx at plus 195 on Rebet. So just to let you know, also, and I am going to, I need to, um, I need to add Rebet commands here. And just to let you guys know, those that are on Facebook, you're going to on Facebook I do have some commands on there now, so I can actually tell you like all the different sites that you can find my stuff on. But um, but just to let you guys know, let me just see something here. Oh, I do have it set up. Okay. So before we get to that here, Rebet is a partner of Bleacher Brothers, and if you go to the link that is on Bleacher Brothers, and I am going to pull that up here for my personal use here, so I can share it into the chat for everybody. Um, tease. Um, and it's also on the description of the video on YouTube as well. So I have shared the link there, so you can go there and click on that link and use the code Bleacher Brothers. And it is a 100% deposit match up to $100. And not only do you get to use real money with this, you also get coins that you can use from the site. So let's say let's say you're in my case where it's Thursday, you got an itch to play, but you don't have the money. Hey, use the coins. That's what I'm doing right now. So and Seattle just scored again, making it 23-16. So my other bet has a chance of winning too, which was San Francisco winning by 1 to 7 points. But anyways, if you found me on Rebet at Joe Quills, um, you would have seen those two wagers because it is a very uh, social network related app, and you can play with money, you can play with the coins, and you get coins with your deposit. And with this, if you make that initial deposit up to $100, you will get $100 back. And there is another great thing about Rebet. You can go to if you have a couple of friends on there that you follow, you could end up going to um, end up finding me, or you find AJ, or you find in your network of friends, you want to have a head-to-head wager, and Rebet will facilitate that. So, and I keep mentioning the movie Trading Places because that's what it reminds me of. The two old guys had a bet on something with Eddie Murphy's character or whatever, and you know what was the result of their wager? The gentleman's wager was $1. So if you wanted to do a head-to-head wager, think of the gentleman's wager in Trading Places. Rebet facilitates that, and whoever wins gets the money, whatever the amount is. So, but you could do that, and and if you want to play um, play WNBA, you can do that. You can go to um, you can go to the you know NBA is going to be starting soon. If you're really degenerate and you want to play preseason basketball, that's there. Hockey just started this week, even though it's really started last week. It started in earnest on Tuesday. Um, Baseball playoffs, you can play that. Whatever sport it is, it's probably on there. And if you go to that link, check it out, and 100% deposit match up to $100. And if you sign up tonight, let me know so that I can get credit for the finder's fee. So rebet.com. They don't have a website. What am I saying? Click on that link that I provided in the chat, or if you're on YouTube, go to. You'll see it in the description as well. So just let you know about that. Also, as I tested the other command that I have, also eligible. We are back on Saturday. AJ's back on Saturday. He survived the hurricane. Now, granted, he didn't get the brunt of it, but he did have some tornadic activity. Thankfully, everybody is safe. And we might be ready to make an announcement on Saturday about the Breeders' Cup. And, you know, well, we'll able to do. We'll be able to make a partial announcement because I don't know about the other day yet. I'll find out about that next week. But we'll be live on Saturday on the Bleacher Brothers networks. Maybe I can add my personal Twitch as well, so you guys can see what that's like firsthand. And we will be looking at 3 races. We'll be looking at the Queen Elizabeth Challenge Cup race at Keeneland, and we're going to look at 2 races at Aqueduct, even though I should avoid New York because fuck New York, because, Phillies got screwed a little bit. But anyways, but enough about that. But also eligible on the Bleacher Brothers channels beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll be finishing by the very latest 11:15 because I got to work on Saturday. So now we touched all those bases. Let's get back to everything here. And since we were talking WNBA before I took that little ad break there, um, WNBA is going to be like its brother league. No, not brother with an A, brother, ER, as in brother and sister. And I'm sure if that was on terrestrial radio, I probably would get my ass reamed by whoever um, the program director is or whoever. But the WNBA will be going to a best of 7 series in the WNBA finals starting next year, according to Kathy Engelhart, the commissioner. In her address before the media before Game 1 tonight, Engelbert also said the league will go to a 1-1-1 setup for the best of 3 first round, giving all playoff teams at least 1 home game. Because the one thing that I asked SJ about this a few times, she's not here tonight because she is actually working for Ball is Life there. So, excuse me, let me get a drink here. Sorry about that. They do have. She does writing for Bullet's Life and interviews and stuff like that. So she does do some side work there as well, and hopefully she will be a regular contributor on the show especially when we launch the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. So, but I asked her about that. I said, is this year's format still two at home and then one on road if it went to a third game? And she said, yeah. And I imagine it was just logistics more than anything else. But you know, they are going to a 1-1-1 so that every team can have an opportunity of hosting a game. Because, like for example, Indiana, who would have loved to have a game at the field house there, Gainsbridge Fieldhouse, I think it's called. They would have loved to have a game there, have a crowd of 15, 20,000 there, but they did not end up getting a third game. And, it's all logistical. But, because of the fact that they are, um, they moved the charter flights for all games starting this season. That helps with the format changes that they're doing. And also, it doesn't mention on this article, but they are going to have 44 games this year. I did see that on ESPN Sports Center as I was talking to AJ as well. So they do have um, they are expanding the 44 games because you have a 13th team there, and the Golden State Valkyries. They announced a new head coach, Natalie Nikasi, who was an assistant with the Las Vegas Aces for the last 3 years. Uh, so just a little something, and I just moved that up a little bit because um, it's the way that it was just that we were talking about WNBA there, and that's why if you're watching or listening, and by the way, I will get the audios back up next week. Um, but next week, um, we'll get those audios back up and running, and also, you know, we'll, just let you guys know, I'm just help, try to get this out as much as possible because I want to draw you into a live show, and if we can get to something else like that, then we'll do it. But 44 games next year for the WNBA, best of seven final, which I like, and maybe Major League Baseball will take the cue and turn the division series into a best of seven, where you won't have more than a couple of, because all you have to do is add 3 days. So that's my opinion. But um, so so that's the case there. Um, it was at this part that I was going to talk about the NFL before I got sidetracked with WNBA, and that's why I put planned on the scroll there because we're flexible. We may not get to certain things, or we get to other things that because I'm that scatterbrained and ADD, ADHD, elemental P that somebody comes in and starts talking about something, I'm going to talk about it. So, but um, now we do have some ripple effects from the Robert Saleh firing. Um, Jets interim coach Jeff Ulbrich made a major shakeup as was expected. He stripped the play calling responsibilities from Nathaniel Hackett. Um, he added a layer of it adds a layer of significance because of Hackett as an Aaron Rodgers confidant. Um, new play caller is Todd Dowling. He's a former Tennessee offensive coordinator who coaches the quarterbacks and holds the title of passing game coordinator. He'll have full say in the game plan and ultimately the plays that are called within the game. Ulbrich hopes to spark an offense that ranks 27th in yards per game. And it's almost like what they did to Sean Desai. The Eagles did to Sean Desai, where Matt Patricia took over, but they didn't fire him. Well, they fired both at the end of the year, but one was fired. I think Matt Patricia was just on a 1-year deal anyway, so they just told him to get out. Um, so Ulbrich said this is more a byproduct of a different take on things. I'm not saying it's a better or worse take on things by any means. It's just a different take, a fresh approach. Hackett will remain on the team, but in an undisclosed role. No titles are changing, only roles. Um, but it's all, be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers reacts, and especially next time he goes on Pat McAfee show, because he's Pat McAfee. It seems like that's the only talk show he'll talk to anymore. Um, Hackett wasn't available to media. Rodgers referred to it as a tough situation for Hackett, but praised him for wanting to stick around, to be here for me, to be here for Todd, support Todd. Todd meaning Todd Downing, the offensive coordinator. But but the question is um, um, Aaron Rodgers just saying things just to play the part, or if things really get bad and he really gets annoyed and pissed off, is he gonna light all kinds of problems? But we'll see. So New York has tied the game at 93. So this is a game where I wish I was on my laptop watching this, because this is, this game is absolute crazy, and I guarantee SJ will have a good night's sleep after this game. But uh, but Salah was fired on Tuesday, as you know, and there were some people that questioned the Lebanese patch on his sleeve when they were in England last week. Um, because they do allow those heritage flag patches on the back of helmets and on sleeves if you're a coach. Uh, you know, Belichick wore Croatia. Uh, Nick Sirianni obviously is Italian, so he has the Italian flag on there. But with everything, and the Jets, their ownership, I believe they are Jewish. So with everything that's going on with everything in the Middle East, and I'm trying not to get political here, people. Um, it's just that so much is going on that maybe that played a part in it. I don't know. I'm not like the guy at WFAM said. Oh, it's because he wore that patch. I don't know. I don't have insiders, and I'm not trying to stoke the fire or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you thoughts of different things here. So maybe it's because of that sleeve patch. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But um, I don't know if Tom Brady would have an opinion on that. Probably not, because he will be in Dallas probably for Detroit and Dallas. But um, um, during Fox's Week 4 broadcast, which he was in Tampa for the Eagles game, he revealed a story he never had told before, that the Bears were very stealth in their recruitment of him once he left New England. Um, George McCaskey, the Bears chairman, confirmed the team's pursuit of Tom Brady when the future Hall of Famer was a free agent in 2020. At the time, Mitchell Trubisky had a disappointing 2019 season. The Bears didn't make the playoffs. McCaskey said he was not directly part of the pitch for Brady to consider signing in Chicago, but he did confirm the team's interest. Um, um, and McCaskey said, it seems like ancient history at this point. I do remember we were interested in pursuing him. It just didn't work out for us. He went to Tampa. It worked out great for him in Tampa, you know, but they ended up going for Nick Foles in a trade with Jacksonville. McCaskey is building a relationship now with this new quarterback, Caleb Williams. So you do have all that going on here. So, and the Bears played Jacksonville this week, but from what I had heard, and I think I heard it on Jeff DeForest's Thursday show. Uh, um, and by the way, Minnesota won that game 95-93 in overtime, and what was probably one of the greatest WNBA games in history. If you're a fan of WNBA, I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it's women's sports," blah blah blah, whatever. But um, so now we can go back over to here. And Yankees are up 3-1, top of the ninth. Yankees looking to close out that series as well. So, one last story here before I go with the Friday, the Philly fade here. I almost said Friday fade, which was the old podcast thing. But anyways, Iron Mike Tyson. Well, first of all, I'll lead his children. You know, uh, even at age 58, Mike Tyson isn't expected to work overtime in the ring. He's giving the old talk like he was 20, 30 years ago, but more a wiser person now. He's facing Jake Paul November 15th, as you know. His first professional boxing match in nearly 2 decades. He doesn't expect the fight to go the distance as long as the problem child does not run from him. Tyson said, and this is, typical boxing talk, if you ask me. If I don't have to catch him, you can expect a round one knockout. Okay, because my Tyson is so horrible, if I don't have to catch him, you can expect a round one knockout. But I may have to catch him because I anticipate this guy running from me. So, um, so that may be the case there. So you're going to have a boxing legend against a YouTuber turned prize fighter. Fight will be on Netflix. It'll take place at AT&T Stadium. Um, Tyson's last win was in 2003, stopping Clifford Etienne. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. Uh, he suffered back-to-back stoppage losses to Danny Williams and Kevin McBride before calling it a career in 2005 at age 38. He hasn't been in the ring for nearly 20 years, but he said he feels fantastic heading into this boxing match because his personal life has settled down, and it's far different from his tumultuous time as heavyweight champion. You've seen the documentaries and the HBO special, the HBO movie, and all that. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that was going on with that. So, um, but um, Tyson said, when I was fighting professionally, I was too stressed out. I never had a chance to relax or enjoy my championships because everything was coming at me. There were lawsuits and divorces. I never enjoyed myself as a human being. This is a moment in time when I can enjoy myself as being a human being. I have better life skills now than I did while fighting. So, you know, in a way, he grew up and, he matured and he's a family man now. He has his business. I believe it's in the pot industry. I'm sorry, let me call it marijuana or whatever, because, I mean, saying it's pot is not necessarily a bad thing anymore, but, we want to make sure we're more accurate with the titles and stuff like that. Uh, so that is it for the stories here. And I'm going to give you some picks here for the weekend. We got great action. Doesn't seem like there's as many games in college football tomorrow on this weekend, but got some great action throughout the weekend. And I know I'll be watching while I'm working, but um, I apologize for yawning there because if you're tired and you see that it's 10:36, I know you're be like, "Come on, man, don't do that to me." So, anyways, it's still 23-17 in Seattle. San Francisco up by 6. Um, let's begin with college football here, and we'll share my screen again. And by the way, I did do the stats the other day. I did it on Wednesday when I was off, or was it Wednesday? Did I do it yesterday? Well, I did it over the last couple of days, and we are updated on the stats. Um, I am 16-24 for the year since I brought it back with this show. So not good, but pathetic. Um, at least me being critical of myself. Let me go here and here. Yes, I had a run there of loss after loss after loss. So I'm 16 and 24. We did hit some money line wagers along the way, and some of the losses that I had were um, with those money lines, so it wasn't losing 10% on top of the wager of a unit. So as of right now, I am at minus 8.11 units at 16 and 24. I do have a running spreadsheet that I have on my Google Drive here. So we will keep track of that, and hopefully we can the put a dent into the deficit here this weekend. So let's begin here. We go to Friday, and I will zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this here. Okay, so as you can see, James Madison's blowing out Coastal Carolina. Western Kentucky's blowing out UTEP, and Tennessee Tech is up on Middle Tennessee State. So let's begin with a Friday night game. Um, and if SJ was here, she would be saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Joe, UNLV again." But I like this game. I know this from personal opinion that Utah State sucks ass, and they lost to Temple in what was this year's toilet bowl. So UNLV comes off of a tough overtime loss to Syracuse, where I told you to play Syracuse last week. I did tell you Syracuse money line, and it was plus 200 at the time. So you would have tripled your money. So if you would have bet $25, that ticket would have been worth 75. If you bet 100, you would have gotten 300 back because you get your $100 back and you get your 200. Now, those numbers in green for those that are watching for the first time, just to let you guys know, um, those are what you're going to pay based on a $100 wager. So minus 112 there for Utah there on my screen. That basically means you got to bet $112 to win 100. Now, you do not have to bet $100. Let's say you want to bet $10. Okay, they will automatically configure the odds based on whatever you want to wager. So if it is you want to bet $10 or $5, or you want to bet 11.20 to win that $10 back, you would pay 11.20 for it. So basically what that is, it's just a rate that you're going to pay. So like for example here, UNLV's taking on Utah State. UNLV did show that they are a pretty good team, even despite that loss to Syracuse. Um, they showed that they can handle some of the big boys, even though Syracuse is not the big team in the ACC. They showed that they can handle some of those Power Four conferences. They take on Utah State at Utah State. Utah State is total garbage, and should you be worried about a letdown after that loss to Syracuse? Yeah, maybe. But I think this is a perfect bounce back game. You got back to back Friday night games, so you don't have to play on a short week, even though with college kids, they're younger, they can bounce back quicker. And I'd like UNLV here, and I'm going to take them at minus 19 and a half, minus 110. So basically, if you wanted to win $100 on that, you would bet 110. If you wanted to win 50, it would be 55 to win 50. If you wanted to win $10 and you got a small budget, and that's perfectly fine. $11 will get you an additional $10 back. So you would get your $11 back and then $10 on top of that. So the one thing I will tell you as well, bet within your means. There is no shame in a small wager. And, there may be weeks where you just say, I don't have the money to wager, and that's perfectly fine too. I am not afraid of telling you this is rent week. I have to work. I don't have time to wager. Life gets in the way. And that, in my opinion, one of the signs that that you have a gambling problem is when you have to you have to wager. You feel like you have to wager, and it's like I got to make up for that losses. And I know sometimes it's tough to resist the urge of playing Hawaii at midnight Eastern time, like they have a game this weekend. So you know, sometimes it's okay to say no, I'm done, whether you've won big or you lost big or you've lost a little bit. You set limits, you stick to them. But if you win, it's like, okay, well, maybe one game, but don't go too crazy on the wager. Make sure you have money that's going to go back into your bank account, or if you're actually in the casino, into your pocket so you can go home with it. So, um, so I basically, bet within your means, be responsible with your wagers. Also, make sure your bills are all paid up because, the last thing I want to see when I do these games is hearing that somebody ended up losing and things spiraled out of control because this isn't about this isn't about getting you into trouble. This is fun, but it's my way of saying, how can I try to make you guys money? Or and also, if you don't like something, feel free to fade it. You know, these are my picks, but you might have a better opinion of, like, let's say if I had picked Utah and I'm not touching that game. Let's say you love Arizona State at home and it's probably going to be hot there, even though it's a night game. You may say, "Oh, I love the fact that Arizona State's playing at home against Utah." Blah blah blah. Hey, if I picked Utah and you feel like you like Arizona State that much, go right ahead. Feel free to fade me because, as you can tell so far this year, I am 16-24. Not happy about it, but would be nice to say at the end of the year. Oh, by the way, remember when I was 10, 12 units under? Well, I made it all back, didn't I? So, you're not going to make it all back in one day. Some people get lucky and they do, but most people do not, and most people will get into more trouble. So, I will definitely tell you once again, bet within your means. 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem, and you know, make sure you have your other things settled before you do something like this. So, just some little things there that I want to say there uh, as a public service announcement. Next game I have is where is it? I missed it here. Did they take the game off the board here? Or did they move the game time? All right, so the Yankees win and they advance to the league championship series. So, um, am I going to have to log in here? All right, so let me do this here. Um, okay, so let me see if I'm scrolling down here because I thought it was a 12 o'clock game here, but for whatever reason, let me log in just in case it's reading me as in New Jersey, because in the state of New Jersey, you cannot wager. You cannot wager on New Jersey college teams. So if you were in Atlantic City, you would not be able to play Rutgers. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so let me see if it's still pinpointing me in New Jersey here, and there's only one way to find out. There we go. That's what it was because I was not logged in for whatever reason. It was telling me it was telling the server that I was in New Jersey for some reason. I don't know. But anyways, Rutgers takes on Wisconsin here. Wisconsin, they beat up on Purdue, but everybody beats up on Purdue. Ask Notre Dame. Wisconsin really hasn't beaten anybody this year. Rutgers lost a tough game to um, Nebraska, who's 5-1 now, and Rutgers, I think, is a much better team. I think this is a gimme here. I'll take Rutgers minus the 2.5 at home against Wisconsin. Um, Let me see here. Mm, 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 mm. Here's a big game out west: BYU and Arizona. Um, I'm going to take BYU here. I think they're the better team here. I'll take BYU at -3 at -112. And let me see if there's anything else here. Um, I'm peeking just in case I get a rate or anything like that as well. So, um, yeah, I'll take one more college game here. We'll go with Minnesota -4 over UCLA. UCLA is horrible this year. They're in shambles um, after what's his face Chip Kelly um, went to Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator. So he probably doesn't want to deal with um, the NIL stuff anymore. So uh, Minnesota a couple weeks ago had a huge win over USC at home. I think they're going to get the win at the Rose Bowl against Minnesota. So Minnesota is my fourth and final college pick here. So Minnesota -4 at -108. So my four picks: UNLV -19.5 at -110. Rutgers -2.5 at -112. BYU -3 at -112. And Minnesota -108. That's -4 on the point spread. And if you're crazy enough to play this as a parlay right now, it's plus 1217. I am not playing as a parlay. I may not even play these, but this is um, mostly entertainment purposes only. And and once again, I'll remind you, if you have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. Let me go here. And I post these on SJ's Discord. Now you have to get my Discord up too because that way I can get everything on my side too. So those are the college games. And let's go to the National Football League here. If I can find it. There we go. And as you can see there, the Niners are up 6 right now. Um, we're going to wait for the Eagles game to the end. Bears take on Jacksonville. Jacksonville is having a hard time getting out of Jacksonville because of the hurricane. Things aren't going as planned with them, and they're 1-4 right now. I'm going to take the Bears there. I think they've been already in London, so I'll go with the Bears -1.5 at -112 in a neutral site game. Um, I am also going to go with an upset here, and this is going to be a money line wager. I am taking the Arizona Cardinals over the Green Bay Packers. I think that we are starting to see the Kyler Murray of old from a couple years ago when he was winning games left and right. Now he's probably, the Cardinals are probably a year away from actually being a team that can potentially make the playoffs. And who knows, maybe they make the playoffs this year. But I think Arizona's got a great chance to pull off the upset here after pulling off the upset against San Francisco last week. Um, Now I would normally play Tampa Bay here, but I'm not paying 118 for a wager, so we're going to skip that. Um, and I'm going to ride the Giants here as well. Um, you know, Cincinnati, they you can give them all the KO pectate and Imodium all they want. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. I think the Giants will find a way to win this game at plus 150, their first primetime win in a long time. And then because I pick every Eagles game, Eagles are a 9.5 point favorite, which is a scary line considering. But just some things because this is my team. And I will tell you, I am not afraid of picking against my Eagles. So, if you were to see my picks on SJ's Discord or you'll see it anywhere else, you watch the show, you watch it on YouTube, whatever. I will tell you that I am not afraid of picking against the Eagles. However, I feel like this is a bounce back game for the Eagles. The Eagles got the bye week at the right time. They should be getting AJ Brown back. They should be getting Devontae Smith back. Uh, you know, everybody's healthy, going to be healthy. That it would be expected to come back this week, from what we know. And you got Deshaun Watson on the other side of the field, and he is cooked. And and I haven't been banned by Cleveland Browns Twitter yet because I sent that picture of I Love Massage on North 9th Street in Chinatown, Philadelphia. But I think that this is a bounce back game for the Eagles. Eagles are insanely good after the bye. I think they're like something like 23-5 or something like that, especially in the regular season. And this is definitely going to be a game where the Eagles will bounce back. They finally play a game at home after two in a row on the road and then that bye week. So first game in almost a month. Eagles will win, and I think it'll be a little bit over that 9.5. So maybe 11, maybe 12, maybe 13, which will fit into the criteria here. So let's go with the Eagles at minus 9.5 at minus 108. So my NFL picks for this weekend, I got the Chicago Bears minus 1.5 at minus 112. I'm taking a screen capture of this as well. There we go. We have the Arizona Cardinals plus 190 on the money line. We have the New York Giants plus 150 on the money line. And we have the Philadelphia Eagles minus 9.5 at minus 108. Those are my four picks in the NFL. And if you're crazy enough to play that parlay, it pays on DraftKings right now at plus 2542. If you're crazy enough to do it, go ahead. But also remember, these are free suggestions. I'm not charging you. I will never charge you because I do not want to deal with people giving me a bunch of shit for bad wagers. So, anyway, so that is going to do it for this show tonight. And um, let me see here. Hmm. Okay, so It looks like I am not going to be raiding out tonight because the person I wanted to raid out to shut down early tonight. So, that's fine. I'm not complaining. But that is going to be it for now. And I do appreciate everybody. And by the way, Bleacher Brothers has followed me. So let me do this because I can. And if you're watching the show right now, and I think that they did a follow and run here. So I have shouted out Bleacher Brothers. Um, they that you will see on Twitch the link to them, which is at Bleacher Brothers. Give them a follow as well, and you know, but we stream to a bunch of different platforms. So you know, if you don't want to watch us on Twitch, you can watch us on YouTube, or if you like Facebook, we go there. We do about 4 or 5 different places, and I may be streaming onto my Twitch as well Saturday. We'll discuss that when I log in Saturday morning as well. So um, and that was a fresh follow too. I mean, that was within the last 3 minutes. So that's why I'm always looking a little bit to the left because I have a two-screen format here. I have the main screen where I'm talking to you from, and I have the side screen here where I can do some mod work in case I have a spammer or anything like that. So, but I do appreciate everybody who's watching tonight on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, and oh, and by the way, we are going to be the app is going to be out in a couple of weeks, so don't worry. So we'll be with that. Um, Also, starting next week, I am going to stream to Facebook now, or actually, no, let me take that back. I'm going to be streaming to the Bleacher Brothers YouTube because they're more into YouTube. I'm more into Twitch. But but what we're going to do is I talked to AJ tonight, and he said, and the way is if as long as it's something that makes some sense, he'll say go for it. But if it's something that's so completely asinine, that's when I'm saying no, 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 no. But usually most of the suggestions I have for AJ, he's just like, do it. So the one thing I will tell you guys is I am going to add Bleacher Brothers YouTube to what I send out because I can send out the 4 right now. I am going to upgrade the plan here so I can stream to more places because it's more Bleacher Brothers related than it is me. So, but if you do, um, give the Bleacher Brothers a follow because I will be on there Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for another edition of Also Eligible. We're going to be looking at one race from Keeneland, 2 from Belmont, from Aqueduct for the Belmont at Aqueduct meet. So if you you know give us a follow, or you can go to a couple different places as well. So that is it for now, and I do appreciate everybody, and we'll do it live again tomorrow, Monday night at 9 o'clock. We'll know who's in the League Championship Series, and we will also know what happened with the Eagles. So hope everybody has a great night. I am part of Bleacher Brothers. Check out bleacherbrothers.com for all your sports needs. I will also have my article for tomorrow at Keeneland coming up shortly. That will drop um, tomorrow morning, and hopefully we get another winner. So that's it for now. Have a great night, everybody, and we will see you on Monday here, and also Saturday morning on Bleacher Brothers. Have a great night, everybody. Catch you this weekend or on Monday.